Welcome back to the Creating Distance podcast hosted by TA Sales. I'm your host, Tom Alaimo. Some people call me Tommy Tahoe. And each week on Fridays, we'll be bringing you an episode to break down with salespeople and sales leaders the top tips, tactics, strategies, stories that you need to get to the next level of your career and up-level yourself. So let's get into it.
Topic of the day that we're going to get to for the podcast and for the live stream today is talking about closing out Q4 really strong in your sales process. So if you're in sales, specifically if you're in B2B sales or B2B tech sales, this one is for you. There's 4 things that I am maniacally focused about myself and with the teams that we coach. Just as a bit of background, if anyone's coming into this new, doesn't know me, doesn't know what we're talking about here. I spent about 8 years in tech sales. I was at Gong, most recently, a couple companies before that, some of the fastest growing companies in the world. For the last 3 years, we have trained at our company over 2,000 sellers from companies as big as Amazon and Salesforce to two-person startups and everything in between. We're helping them with building pipeline. We're helping them create habits out of their sales process. We're helping them with discovery, demoing, closing, leadership, upsells. So we spend a lot of time in the trenches with these teams, and there's 4 things that you should focus on if you're watching this. We're creating this right now. It's 9 a.m, Central Time, December 17th, Wednesday. So the first thing to focus on if you are in Q4 right now and you are closing out the year, whether your year ends in December or your year ends in January, number one is to want to look over every single rock in your deal. So the best sellers I know, and if you're only starting this now, you're probably a little bit late, but you can still get there. Is you want to get in and look at every single deal at every angle as possible. So the best salespeople are great not only at qualifying deals, but they're great at disqualifying deals. So they know which deals are most likely to join. Which I'm looking at the TikTok stream. We got some questions coming in. We got some people wanting to join in as guests and everything like that. Okay, that's awesome. So the best salespeople know which deals to work and which ones don't. Right. So they know where to qualify on particular deals and where to disqualify on certain deals. Okay. So they know, especially at this time of year, you're only working the deals that are most likely to close. And what is the way for you to know if a deal's likely to close? Like every sales process is a little different, but you should have 3 to 5, ish criteria that indicate a really high likelihood to close. So, most people call this a sales methodology or sales framework. Some popular ones are, MEDIC or MEDPIC or SPICE. And basically, the throughput of this is you're just trying to identify if someone is actually going to buy or not. So things like, is there a critical event in the business, a priority and a pain point? Are you talking to the right person? Are you talking to the economic buyer, someone that can make decisions, sign a contract, has budget for something like this? Is there the timeline that they need to get this done by the end of the year, and it's important to them? There's urgency behind the deal. Do you have a next step on the calendar? Do you have a champion in your deal? So these things are all really, really important. And so the best salespeople right now, yes, they are. They're still prospecting and things like that, but they're spending the bulk of their time thinking about these deals, being strategic about these deals, and trying to ask themselves not why would this come in, but why would this not come in? So basically, you're trying to identify in the reverse, like if we get to January 1st and this deal did not come in, why is that? And trying to figure out why do people not buy, right? Is it that someone's going to be out of vacation? Is it going to be that they ran out of budget? We didn't have enough time. We got stuck at the wrong level, whatever it might be. Okay. So, something that's really important when we're thinking about timelines is, the holiday rush. So the next 2 weeks after this week, things are a little screwed up. We've got Christmas for 2 days in one week. We've got New Year's for the other 2 days in the other week. So we've got really only like 7 business days left if you're really thinking about it, including today. And so every detail that only not only means that you want to move more quickly, but you need to ask those questions because it's quite possible that your champion or the signer on your contract. You think that they're ready to go, and they're going to sign by the end of December, but they're going to be off in Vail skiing with their family. And so you need to understand what's going on at that level and ask those questions, come up with a mutual timeline with everyone that's involved with the deal, and be dialed in. You're almost like a project manager as much as you are a salesperson, especially when you're talking about an enterprise deal, especially when it gets towards the end of the year or the end of the quarter. So that's the first piece. Um, the second piece that you want to focus on is like still pushing and getting ready for next year. So believe it or not, Q1 is still going to exist. You are going to need deals in January and February and March. And so anytime that you are not focusing on the deals that might close by the end of the quarter, you need to focus on for the end of getting ready for next year. So for those that are joining in on the live stream, welcome in, welcome in. Feel free to ask any questions if you want. My name's Tom. B2B sales is the focus here, closing the year strong, getting ready for 2026. Right now is a time where very few salespeople are actually prospecting. They're not making a bunch of cold calls. They're not sending a bunch of emails. They're not using LinkedIn. They're not sending handwritten letters. And so this is a separation season right now where you're able to walk into next year with with a fat pipeline if you put in the hours right now. And nobody wants to meet on a new deal right now, but you can set up a ton of meetings in the month of January right now in these next like 7 days because people are around. People might pick up the phone, and less people are spending that time prospecting unless you're a BDR and that's your full job, because people are kind of slowing down around the holidays. So you want to make sure that you walk in and you're not behind the eight ball if you're an account executive or an account manager and you've got a quota to hit. Or if you're even a BDR, you want to get everything rolling and everything ready so that, once you step back into the workforce on January 6th or 5th or whatever day, you're not starting from scratch. You've got something ready to go. Okay. So that's two. There's four things that we're focusing on for people that are just joining that you want to focus on if you're in B2B sales before you close out the year. So number one was looking under every single rock for your deals, what to look for, what to ask, questions to ask, how to build a mutual action plan, how to make sure people aren't skipping away on the holidays and not signing a contract if that's what you think that they're going to do. Number two is about keeping your pipeline generation going as you close out the year. The number three, assuming that you're doing those things and things might be a little bit slow starting next week, and maybe if you're not taking the time off, but if you're coming in and you are going to put in some hours into work over the next few weeks, what I would highly highly suggest is to go Marie Kondo on your sales process. Okay, so hands up if you know who Marie Kondo is. She's like the organization expert. So people bring her in to their homes and she'll organize all the cabinets and things like that. So I would highly recommend you do that within your own business, within your own territory. So things probably got really messy if you're anything like me throughout the year, where your CRM's a mess, your pipeline's all over the place, your sales sequences and outreach, or Gong or wherever you're doing them are out of control. You've got all these different meetings on your calendar that aren't doing anything for you. Maybe your daily routine's out of whack. So like, this is the perfect time to take a step back and look at every piece of what your strategy is for being a great salesperson, right? And that can go as high level as like what your daily routine looks like. When are you waking up in the morning? When are you getting into work? How do you structure your day? When are you exercising? When are you seeing friends? When are you doing other things in your life? Like, if that feels out of whack, this is a good time to do a little bit of a reset around that. More tactically, you want to tighten up who the accounts that you're targeting, the contacts you're going after, the sales sequences you have, your CRM, everything like that. So you can walk in, your Google Drive folders, your email, the different email accounts that you're subscribed to, like, clean all that shit out so that when you get into the new year, again, you're walking in and you almost feel like you took a backpack off. You feel a little bit lighter that way. So if you're subscribed to a bunch of different emails, if you're following a bunch of people on LinkedIn or other social that, are bringing you down, go unfollow them, right? Like you want to clean up your information diet. You want to clean up some of the things that you're doing, any of the bad habits that you've picked up and collected throughout the year, so that when you kick off the new year, you're starting to feel good again. Okay. So again, for anyone that's new coming into the stream, we're talking about four things if you're in B2B sales to clean up before the end of the year. Number one was about closing deals and looking under every rock for those and questions to ask. Number two is about prospecting and coming into the new year with a good pipeline. Number three is about just organization and cleaning up habits. And then the fourth and final one is it's a great time to start thinking big. And it's a great time to start thinking ahead to next year. And we've trained. I've been in sales for over a decade. We've trained thousands of tech B2B salespeople from companies like Salesforce, like Amazon, like a bunch of different startups. And what we see more often than not when it comes to quotas and goal setting is that a sales rep will just take whatever quota is given to them, and that's their goal for the year. My boss told me to sell $1 million, so I'm going to put $1 million as my goal, and I'm going to try to figure it out how to get there. But the best salespeople have more specificity in mind when they're thinking about their goal. So it might be the same number as that quote. It might be different, but the key is that they have a reason for it. So the best salespeople that I know, might look at what their commission structure looks like, and they try to tie their goal to something specific that they want to accomplish. So people that I know that have 87K in student debt, people that want to buy their first house, people that are starting to build a family, people that want to take a dream vacation to Italy with their significant other, whatever it might be. They have something like that that's specifically in mind, because the beauty of sales is that you get to you get paid out on what your performance is. So if you really want to earn X amount of dollars, there is a math equation that you can run on how to get there, right? So if you want to earn $100,000, you can look at your compensation and look at your commission plan and figure out how much do I need to sell to get there. And if you're trying to figure out how much to sell to get there, then you can go backwards from that math and figure out, okay, if I want to make $100,000, then I need to sell X amount of deals, because I know what my average sales price is, which means I need, a certain amount of new opportunities that come into my pipeline throughout the year, which means I need a certain amount of sales activities every week, cold calls, emails, whatever it else that your door knocks, whatever else that you're doing to create new opportunities. And you now know your daily and weekly plan to get to your goal just by breaking down the math. So you need to know numbers like what your average contract value is. You need to know numbers like, what your close rate is. You need to know how fast your sales cycle is. And if you have those numbers, you can start to play with the math and figure out what you need to do to get to your goal. That's the beauty of sales. There's the flip side is that there's pressure and a quota to hit, and you've got to be great. And if you're not, your job might be in jeopardy. On the bright side of it is that you get to control what your outcomes are, and so that is the beauty of sales and what we teach. So I would take some time to really figure out where it is that you want to get to, and how can you turn that into a daily habit? How can you turn that into a math equation? So those are the four things, as we're closing out the year, that I would personally be focused on. These are things that I am focusing on. If this is something that, if you are a salesperson and you are watching this, listening to this, we have ways that we help. We have an online library of content. You can check it out. If you reach out to me on LinkedIn, my name's Tom Alaimo, or you can go to tasales.co for more info on that. If you're a sales leader, we are offering free audits. So we will audit your outbound system and look through, your messaging, the tech stack that you're using, what your approach is, and be able to share with you. That's usually something that we charge for, but we are offering a special to do a handful of those for free at the end of this year, and to kick off next year, to show you potential gaps and opportunities that you might be wanting to look into for next year. So that's where we're at right now. Hope y'all enjoyed first stream here. Gonna do some more of this going into next year, because I think there's going to be a lot of attention paid on that. So for everyone else, keep strong, closing out the year. Good luck on everything, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Thanks for checking out that episode. Two quick things as a takeaway. Number one, we would feel honored if you left a review wherever you're listening to this podcast, if it's on Spotify or Apple or YouTube, to just let us know how we're doing, what else you'd like to see. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can check us out at tasales.co. Love to hear from you there. Much love. Have a great week.